Hello everyone, so we're on day 15, so last lesson of our third week of summer school. So in this lesson we're going to be learning about additive and multiplicative inverse. So we have additive and multiplicative inverse. So I'm just going to focus on one at a time. So let's just focus on additive inverse. So when I say inverse, basically it's just finding the opposite of something. So let me just list a few. So let's just start off with, let me label this. So this part is just on additive inverse. So let me put a few numbers. So I have 3, negative 77, 1 over 2, and negative 12.2. So when I say additive inverse, so it means what should I add to these numbers to get 0 as my answer? So let's look at the first example, 3. What would you add to that to get 0 as your answer? So I would just add negative 3 and my answer would be 0. So basically it's just the opposite. Opposite of that number is the additive inverse of that, so opposite. Okay, so negative 77, so what would be its additive inverse? Just take the opposite, so 77 with positive sign. 1/2, it's positive, so what would be its inverse? What would you add to that to get 0 as an answer? So it would be negative 1 over 2. Negative 12.2, what would be its inverse? So it would be positive 12.2. So that's how we deal with additive inverse. Now let's move on to multiplicative. Okay, now slightly different. This time we're not trying to get 0 as an answer. We're trying to make 1 as an answer. So what would, like, let me put a few examples. So let's say I have 2. I have negative 73 and I have 3/4. So what would you multiply to these? Okay, I said multiplying. Why? Because it's multiplicative, right? So what would you multiply to these numbers to get 1 as an answer? So 2 times what gives you 1? So if I just multiply this number by its reciprocal, so 2, what's the reciprocal? 1/2. So that would be its multiplicator inverse. Because I know if I multiply 2 by 1/2, you know, multiply straight across, 2 over 2, so my answer would be 1. So basically it's reciprocal. So reciprocal of that number would be its multiplicative inverse. So negative 73, what would be its multiplicative inverse? So take the reciprocal. It's 1 over, don't forget to carry the sign. If there is any negative, make sure you carry the sign. 3/4, what would be its reciprocal? So answer would be 4/3. Here you go. So that's how we find multiplicative inverse. So this is all for this lesson, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.